with Meru, the Supreme Mountain, the four continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha field.
香水图是花朵铺满地，须弥圣山周日月庄严。圆念佛刹以作供养物，愿诸众用清净。
Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the greater, lesser, and ordinary vehicles in accordance with the understanding and different mental capacities of sentient beings.
依据个别众生阅历、不同根基与希修，祈请上师慈悲悯，转动三圣之法轮。
So, my Dharma friends, this morning you have said that as it is, his mind surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem. We So, if we wish to obtain this wish-fulfilling gem, we wish to find that, there is a way to find it. And in brief, actually, if we wish to obtain this wish-fulfilling gem, we can easily find it. We find it when we cultivate bodhicitta. And so then the next line it says, may I hold them dear at all times. And so how we hold them dear is with the mind of bodhicitta. And we all have some bodhicitta, like the seed of a flower, at least to some degree. And so this wish-fulfilling gem here, which is like bodhicitta, will not benefit sentient beings as in bestowing them like jewels and riches, like a wish-fulfilling gem. But it is a quality that we first have in our mind, like the seed of a flower. It already has all those qualities of a flower, but it is not yet apparent. So it comes from within the mind. And so, throughout all lifetimes until now, and in all lifetimes, all the merit we accumulate, the 6 paramitas, actually are a natural quality that come from the quality in the mind of love and compassion and kindness. And if there is self-grasping, then from that follow the 6 afflictions. And so what we need to do in order to hold beings dear at all times is we need to care for them and hold them dear with bodhicitta, with kindness and compassion. And so many of my senior Dharma friends know about that. This is really all I have always talked about, and nothing else really is bodhicitta. And many of you might have heard it so much already that you might get a bit annoyed and think you always talk about bodhicitta and all the time and again, and just then we stop. But actually, there is a need to really actually persist in mentioning it again and again, because it's not enough to just have heard it, but actually it must be applied to the mind, must stay in the mind. And so, therefore, it begins actually, although we say in our prayer, we think about all sentient beings, but really it begins with being in harmony with those around, our family and so on. So how we should think is in this way. We can think that I have taken the refuge vow, and so therefore I am a Sangha. And being a Sangha, a noble Sangha, I must have love and I must have patience for others. And in that way I care for others. So when we talk about holding others dear or caring for them, it means that we need to care for them in our heart with bodhicitta.
各位在座的佛友，早上的时候呢，我们就有谈到说，我们的这个心呢，它可以变成好像如意宝珠一样。如果说我们想要让这个心成为好像如意宝珠一样的话呢，那我们其实是有办法可以做到的，而且是相当容易的。那就是我们要去培养菩提心。在这个偈颂当中的第2句呢，我们说到，是为了饶益他众的意乐来进行，来就是升起这个如意宝珠的。所以呢，我们的目的是要饶益他众，并且呢，将众生呢放置在非常重要的位置。那要怎么去做呢？我们大家都具有菩提心，只是程度上呢有所不同。这个如意宝珠它就是这个菩提心它就好像如意宝珠一般，它显现的是我们心所能够产生的功德，而这个心的功德呢，它就如同是这个花的种子，尽管它本来就具有这个功德， 可是还处在种子的状态，它是还没有显现出来的。我们通过多生多世呢累积，通过六波罗蜜多的修持，累积了许多的资粮。而这个六波罗蜜多的修持，它的功德呢，都是来自于慈心悲心。而我执心呢，它将会产生六种烦恼。我们要如何将众生放在安置在这个非常重要的位置呢？那就是我们要以这个仁慈还有悲心去对待他们。许多在座资深的佛友应该都听我说过很多次，就是一直不断的谈及要升起菩提心，而且呢是一再不断的去强调。为什么要如此去强调菩提心的升起呢？因为菩提心它并不是只是单单听闻了就足够了，它是必须要留在我们心中的，让我们重新升起的。在一开始的这个偈颂文当中就有说到，我们如此去做呢，是为了要饶益有情众生。所以呢，比如说我们通过这样子的祈愿呢，首先我们要去与家人朋友保持和谐的关系，那就是其中一步。那我们也可以去思维，我们受持了皈依戒之后，我们就成了僧众，那我们就必须要以慈心，还有要以这个慈爱心，还有忍辱心去对待其他人，并且将他们安置在重要的位置，然后呢，就是以菩提心去爱护他们。
And then it says in verse number 2, whenever I interact with someone. So first, that line refers to any kind of circumstance, wherever you are and whoever you are with, together with. And that could be in any context. For example, in a Dharma, religious context, it could be when you are together in the company with someone in a monastery, a center with monks, and so forth, or with the guru, the spiritual masters, and with other students and so forth, at a learning institution or at any place. And also in a normal worldly context, at home, it could be our household, our family, or even just our community of the town and so on. Or spending a week somewhere together. So whenever we spend some time with anybody, at any place, whenever we are together with anybody, in the company of somebody, it says, then may I view myself as the lowest amongst all. So to view yourself as the lowest amongst all is to look at the qualities of those that you're with, the others, and look at your own faults. And also, as the wise masters have said, you should not look at the faults of your companions, and you should not look at your own good qualities. So that is because when you look at your own faults each and every day, then by seeing your faults all the time, your own faults will be reduced. And when you look at the qualities of others, your companions, then your love for them will increase. For example, if that is a love between Dharma friends, then you will always be friends until you attain enlightenment. Or in a worldly context, worldly friends or family or spouses or any kind of worldly relations, if you look at their qualities, then you will always be harmonious with each other. You will be kind and can spend a good time, a harmonious time together. So what this line here is most importantly to say, therefore, is do not look at your own good qualities and do not look at the faults of others. For example, even in a worldly context, like in a family, just to give a small example, there's 2 people or so in a family, and then like the parent would think that be like, looking at the faults of the child or so, and they say, no, I'm always doing all the work, I'm doing everything, I'm the one who's making all the money, and he's just lying around and eating and not doing anything. So when we look at it from that perspective, we're looking at their faults, then the self-grasping, this fixation in the mind will just more and more solidify, and you will get into greater and greater conflict with the other person. And so for this reason, we should refrain from looking at the faults of our companions, because if we give way to the hatred and resentment, we will be lost in this life and in all future lifetimes. So therefore, most important, this line is to say, do not look at the faults of others.
在接下来这一句寄颂当中的第一句呢，说到愿我交往何人时，在这边指的是在任何的情况、地点和任何人的各种接触，包括在宗教上的，或者是你在寺院当中你接触到上师、僧人，或者是同才修学的这些佛友们。或者是你在这一个学院当中等等。另外呢，比如说你在世间的活动当中你接触到你的家人， 还有你在社区你接触到社区中的许多人。那在这些世间活动当中的接触，以及佛法出世间当中的这些团体的接触当中呢，当我们接触到这一些任何人的时候，我们花时间跟他们在一起的时候呢，接下来我们就要接下来我们就要市己教众皆卑下，就是在第二句里面有说到的。也就是说，我们要将自己看得比其他人还要低下。所以这边这么说呢，是强调我们要能够看到众人的其他人的功德，那不应该看到他们的过失。所以也就是说到，比如说我们不应该看到我们的陪伴我们伴侣家人的过失，就是有一句话，对不起，有一句话呢是大师所说的，他说到就是我们不应该看到朋友家人的过失，也不应该看到自己的功德，我们应该关爱的是自己的过失，因为如此去做的话，我们的过失才会逐渐的减少。当我们一直去观他人的过失的时候呢，我们就会逐渐升起各种的这个烦恼。可是如果说我们观他人的功德的话，我们的慈爱心却会因此增长。举个例子来说，如果在佛友之间呢，彼此之间是以慈爱心来互相对待的话，那一直到获得证悟为止呢，都能够维持这种良好的关系。如果我们可以观朋友的功德的话呢，或者是我们以这种方式去对待世间的各种关系，就是观他人的功德，那我们不论和任何人相处，都能够获得和谐的关系。这一行呢是非常重要的，也就是指说我们不要去观自己的功德，然后不要去观他人的过失。举另外一个例子来说，比如说世间活动当中，比如说世间的活动，一个家庭里面有2个成员，比如说父亲他一直看到孩子的过失，认为自己为这个家做了所有的事情，赚钱养家等等，然后呢，他却一直看到这个孩子呢，他就是躺在床上，或者是说在吃东西，而没有做任何的事情。那他这样子去观待孩子的过失的时候呢，这种认为孩子有过失的概念呢，会越来越就是凝固，越来越稳固，会造成他与子女之间的冲突。所以我们不应该观我们身边家人朋友的过失，应该就是应该要看到他们的功德。
我是说到给好嘛，要靠要去生要去过的这种阶段的众多过的人的话是我3年，然后他的终于达到通过的，我们通过嘛，一刚你说就是大这种东西的，然后说通过大的动荡，用一上去，东西都通过，一种也是你的话，就全部是2个，这种一个大全部2条，他啥个是用通过的。这种什么中间的也是生出来的，这种方法就是大心结，大心结要成立，大心结也当天的差不多，这是说到哪里？不能早这个人，一上班他把人拖的地方怎么说？ 사과는 거의 발생할 정도로 사과는 주의고 용계상의 도움이 설에 상마지는 것을 바라야 돼. 동작도 나와서 산이 좀 내려를 도움이 필요해. 나장시 기반의 도움이 필요해. 돈이지는 소송 방에도 급상도 제기를 돈하고 사자분들하고 손님을 아무래도 요 일반 주사에 의해서 일반 인재 상품 첫상으로 주사에 똑바로 분지고 첫상으로 얘는 아주 일반이나 주사 첫상으로 얘는 예시당이 들이 상품을 다시 소송을 소송했고 먼저는 너무 너무 많은 빨리 삽시다. 이 사람을 가르쳐 알리 좀 싸웠습니다. 얘는 핑충충 봐. 이 얘기는 있었다고. 피가 좋은 얘기지. 이거 다 핑충충 싸도 이상한 게 누가 그 사람을 보고 나는 좀 제거했지. 나는 누가 나는 좀 제거했어. 가요 말이죠. 너는 소라스는 어떻게마다 이세계를 하도 가르치고 자신을 책임을 이미 어디다 예를 들어 상세히 싫어하게 사족선택을 해도 솔직히 말로 관행책으로 해주시 정신주의 정말 제약으로 해서 대상자가 필요한 예를 들어서 상속선 상속이 그래도 이제 통로에 사과를 하고 책임하는 공익적인 문제를 잘 이기는 게 아니고 남는 말과 차도시라는 말이 어디로 뛴다. 아무런 지하고 지하대장자가 해당되는 거는 아무런 말이면 지하라고 해서 보고서보다도 고다 아니지만 지지와는 사실 한국이 이 진로를 아빠의 공부도 남아서 아니고 당신들이 나오지 않은 거예요. 이거 체감만 나오는 대회가 하시고 얘네들 금도 도어도 들어가야지. 예전에 사람들이 한양 책까지 정보를 해야지. 그런데 기반을 걸고 언어 상지에 잡아보고 넣지도 마. 살다 그 다음에 비만 전문 기관지 거예요. 그 정도 따라서 얘기는 띄워오니까 주사를 했어. 또 당시 나중에 또 통화하다니 그래서 하나님 보고 말이지. 이게 마음이 띄워온 거 다 되겠지. 그래서 뭐 이 초통을 띄우고 있고 그래서 이 철방으로 보지 않고 조금만 거 뭘 반복을 좀 하는 거고 정리를 잡고 제가 반복을 했지.
On a larger scale, we think about caring for others and viewing ourselves as lower and cherishing others. We talk about our teachers, our parents, our country, and for the most part, these are especially many times the recipients of all our criticism. For many people really criticize their country or their parents or their teachers. So when we, not only them, but actually, for the most part, most people see the faults in all of those people that they are together with, all of their companions. They tend not to see their companions' qualities. So why is that? It is because there is self-grasping within one's own mind. And because self-grasping is very powerful, we look at the faults of others and all we can see is their faults. Their qualities seem to be hidden to the self-grasping mind, and all one can see with that mind is the faults in others. And so what we need to understand here, what is important to understand here, is that how do we normally associate, how do we feel when we look at somebody else, when we associate with somebody else? So what is, how do we feel? What sensation arises? So we have a grasping, that is the greatest fault to self and others. We are attached to ourselves, and then when we see something unpleasing, we have an aversion to it. And that aversion is actually the seed of the hell realm. That leads to hatred, and that leads to jealousy and pride and so on. That is the root of all our suffering. It really comes down to our grasping at self and others. And so when we look at others, it says here, really from the depths of one's heart, we should respectfully hold others as superior. That is, we should look at the qualities of others instead of their faults. And moreover, actually, oneself also has those faults. Actually, there is nobody who doesn't have faults. Everybody has faults. Actually, until we attain enlightenment, we will have some faults. And so even ourselves have faults. But those who can only see the faults in others will see faults in anybody, really. There's even people who see the fault, for example, in the Buddha himself, or, for example, the Dalai Lama. So, but then when we look at that kind of critical perception, now, how does it, will it help us anyhow, or will it actually cause our ruin? Will it harm us? As Sakya Pandita had said, those with a wicked character are like a water strainer, like a tea strainer, water strainer. So the water falls right through. That is, they cannot hold on, they cannot retain the qualities of others. And they fall right through the strainer. When we always look at the faults of others, slowly and slowly we will have lesser and lesser friends, and people will separate from us. In the end, we will be left alone. And the fault of that really is of only having criticized others and never really looked at their fault, at their qualities. And so also in the Sakya it is said, on the other hand, those with a good disposition, noble beings, if someone helps them just a bit, they will never forget about it. They will always remember it. Even if it is just the slightest thing somebody has done for them, they will always remember that kindness. And then when sometimes people do them wrong, make a little mistake or so, then they will think, it is okay, I also have faults, they are not to blame. Then they would just let that go. And so in brief, the most important point here really is, do not look at the faults of your companions. That is really very important. Rather look at their good qualities, because when you look at the qualities of others, then your love, your compassion increases, your wisdom increases, and bodhicitta increases. And so that is how we respectfully hold others as superior, really from the depths of our heart. It is to again and again bring to mind their good qualities and not look at their faults. And that will increase your bodhicitta. That refers especially to those companions that you spend your life together with, those that are around you all the time. And those companions that you spend your life with, you spend your life together with, they are around you due to karmas accumulated in the past and also various temporary conditions. So now you're destined to spend this time together. And especially with those that are always around you, you should be careful not to be jealous at them, angry at them, but try to look at their good qualities. For example, if anger arises, if a conflict arises between you and a friend, then you can think back to how you first loved that friend, and how love first arose in the beginning. So you remember these early moments of love, and when you think about the love, you bring back to mind the love that you had for that person, then the anger for that person will quickly go away. And so especially as a Buddhist practitioner, it is important that we hold dear the mind of love and compassion. That really is our jewel in our future lifetimes. And so how can we obtain that jewel? It is really through our companions, those around us. So these words really are very important, and you should consider them well, because that we should protect us really is loving kindness and compassion.
从教管广泛的面向来看呢，我们应该要去思维，我们要去想去爱护其他的众生，并且呢，将自己放在叫众生为低下的卑下的位置。我们平常会谈及就是老师、父母、这个国家等等。那很多人他们就会去批评父母亲，还有这个国家、老师的不好。那很多人呢，他都会看到周围就是在你身边的人的这些过失，而不会看见他们的功德。这是为什么呢？那是因为心中的我执造成的。当我执的这个力量非常强大的时候，我们就会看到他人的这个过失，这个他人的功德呢，它就会被这个我执心所隐藏起来。因此很重要，我们必须去明白，就是当我们在去看其他人的时候，我们心中是升起什么样的感受呢？我们执着于自我，然后当我们看到任何不悦意的情境的时候，就会产生厌恶的情绪，而这种情绪将成为堕入地狱的种子，并且会引来各种烦恼，像是嗔怒、嫉妒等等，而这些烦恼都来自于我执。当我们看待其他人的时候呢，不但不应该看他们的过失，反而就是应该诚心诚意又真挚尊重他人献爱心。也就是说，我们从心深处去将他人看为是比自己更上的、更殊胜、更无上的。当我们能够看待他人的功德，而不是看到他人的过失，如此去观待的意思呢，就是指说我们可以看到他人的功德，而不是他们的过失。每个人都会有过失，不论是任何人，只要我们还存在于还没有证悟成佛之前呢，都会有这些有不同的过失。那我们自己都有过失，可是呢，很多人他们只会看到他人的过失，甚至是有些人他会看到佛的过失，或者是达赖喇嘛尊者这些圣者的过失等等。那这样子的观他人的过失，并且去批评他们呢，对我们有什么帮助或者是伤害吗？萨迦班智达他曾经就说过，如果以这种邪恶的个性呢去看待他人，那这个他人的功德呢，就会好像水一样流走，而你没有办法留住，将他人的功德呢留在你的身上。所以去看他人的过失，逐渐的你就会越来越没有朋友。然后这个那这些都是源自于你看到 他人很多的过失，并且去批评他人。另外呢，萨迦班斯达他也说到，圣者呢，他们一旦有人给予他一点点的帮助呢，他都不会忘记，即使只是一丁点的这个援助，他们都会一直铭记在心中的。他人的这个，因为呢，即使呢别人犯了错误，他们也会思维说这没有关系，因为我自己也会有过失，所以他们很容易就会放下他人的这些过失。尤其我们不应该去关待我们周围的人的这些过失，反而我们应该去看到他们的功德，因为如此去做，我们的慈心悲心才能够有所增长。而且我们的智慧还有菩提心也能够因此增长。所以呢，这边我们说到，这就是这边我们所说到的，我们要时时的去尊重他人，然后以诚心诚意去对待他们，并且呢，就是要将他们的这些善的功德呢，就是一直意念起来，这样子我们的菩提心就能够获得增长。这尤其是对于我们周围的人尤其是对我们周围的人，要升起这种关待他们功德的这个这个方式去对待他们是很重要的。因为今天我们会和我们周围的人生活在一起呢，都是因为过去世的这个业力业力的缘故，所以呢，今天我们才会一起生活。所以我们必须很小心，不要对周围的人升起嫉妒、嗔怒等等的情绪。举个例子来说，比如朋友之间，如果说产生冲突的话呢，那我们应该去思维，就是去回想当初我们是如何的爱这个朋友，慈爱这个朋友的，并且将这一份对他的慈爱心呢找回来。那就会因此原本的这个怒气呢就会消失不见。所以这边就尤其是所以呢，我们尤其是要时时刻刻的珍爱我们身边的这一些人，而且是以这个慈悲心来对待他们，去珍爱他们。这就是我们如何能够获得菩提心这个如意宝珠的方法，也就是通过与我们周围的人相处，然后呢，就是通过我们去学习如何关待他人的这个功德。而这句偈颂呢，我们应该要一再的思维，因为呢，能够保护我们自己的就是这一份慈心悲心。
多人功德那有个国定梦地方啥说，但在哪里说的嘛？啥的，这个还我有的给他们，哪里说的嘛？我这地方就说不话，他地方大的，不能谈别的，一些关于我国的事，其他国国的事，他们是。시합이 뭐는 되게 시집을 막고 랑이 좋다 입이 좋은 거야. 제일 맛있어 보이고 이렇게 지내고 그렇지. 그러면 이거 따라 앞으로 이렇게 떠오르고 이게 앞으로 이거 소금들이 깨어와 솔직히 두어라 이거 다 얘기해라. 这是咱们多考量的，这个呢，中间到长程度，大经理是强，大经理还是在英国中，那钱呐，差多不差，这就是到今年的工资就没事。我们常见到大经理说一个，因为我最好看的， 그런 것들을 말을 기억 나도 대단한 거예요. 대단한 감을 뭐 말하면 기억 말하는 거. 또 말이나 다른 말은 왜냐면 유난히 오라 뭐다 속고 있어. 그리고 영혼 자체가 주시 바이올이 그런 것도 주시구나. 뭐라 해당하면 서로 아까 해당 거랑 여지가 바뀌를 가는 상황의 의미 대발 도움에서 해당을 했어. 나는 소중한 해당을 좀 가리죠. 그 일주일에 내용을 나왔는데 여기서 나는 소중한 속고 있고 해당을 가리죠. 저는 뜻보다 좋아. 그래서 좀 요 마음을 물론 쫓아가는 게 앞에 필요할지 와서 해당하고 차도 해당된다. 그 상태에 해당을 그들이 양을 공부 모임을 위한 아까도 그들이 마산이 시원한 지와서만 지와처럼 자 양서야를 좌우고 야상이고 철랑으로 흥인다고 나니 있는 자리 보고 상태에 해당을 하다가 나상태에 차고 뇌와 소음을 다 동화 나설을 다 공동을 다 이렇게 만드는 거죠. 그래서 소음은 그만 만들 수 없어. 해당도 모르겠어. 나도 봐봐. 지금 인생 동이 내가 같이 서서도 시작. 우리 가까이 사상 단거를 했어. 도랑 상실.
And so then it says, in verse number 3, in all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. And so this verse actually is quite similar, same meaning actually as one verse in the 37 Bodhisattva practices, verse number 36. And this verse talks about that the need for mindfulness and awareness, wisdom in whatever you do in all your activities. And because if you have wisdom, you will not look at the faults of others, but rather look at your own faults. And when you find yourself criticizing others, then you would recognize that right away as a mistake. You would think that this is, I should not do that. I should not look at the faults of others. For example, when you witness somebody doing something wrong, doing something wrong with an object, making a mistake in their actions, then immediately you might look at their faults and think, well, that what they're doing is really, really bad. But actually, when you look into your own mind and mindfulness really, then you might find that actually maybe I also could possibly make such a mistake. So we should only look at our own faults over and over again. And that is important to see. So what is the root of all that fault? It is our own self-grasping. From self-grasping then arise all the other afflictions, greed and jealousy, attachment, and so on. The root of all suffering lies in self-grasping. It is the source of all the other afflictions. For example, if another person offends you, humiliates you, immediately you would get very angry at that person. Why? Because you would think, this person is offending me. And so if you don't think about it carefully, then you will not really investigate, whether or not this person was right or wrong, or even whether you're able to really make a case for yourself. You will just feel enraged and feel I will retaliate, and because you're completely driven by affliction, because you are unmindful. On the other hand, if you're mindful and alert, you would recognize that anger has arisen. And if you get angry at the other person, then who in the end will be harmed by that? It is actually yourself in all future lifetimes, because hatred is anger. That is the one that really destroys your love and compassion in all lifetimes. Also, therefore, 37 practices in one verse talk about hatred, and saying that the greatest fault, look at the fault of your own hatred, your own anger. Actually, you can find with anything important, all the qualities to learn in the 37 Bodhisattva practices. So if we only take hatred or anger as an example, so what really happens with anger? Why is it so detrimental? For example, if somebody has spent their whole life together with somebody else, for many years they have lived together happy, with kindness and compassion, and so one day, first maybe one person gets jealous, and then that jealousy turns into anger and resentment, and then all that love and kindness that you have shared for so long, all of that turns into anger. And then maybe people will fall apart, will separate, and also after they have died in future lifetimes, throughout many lifetimes in the future, they will meet again and again as each other's enemies. Actually, the enemies that we now have in our lives, in the past life actually, have been such a dear friend that have been very kind to us, but then we had mistreated them, and therefore their love had all changed, had all turned into anger, and now they appear as our enemy, as our karmic creditor. For example, the karmic creditor that takes our, threatens our life, that comes from the deed of killing in the past. Or the karmic creditor that gives us sickness comes from our deeds of abusing, beating others in the last life. Or the karmic creditor that brings us poverty, that was the result of having stolen things from others in the past life. And so all of these, whatever suffering we experience, really comes from a similar source, similar causes as these. It comes from the negative thought in your own mind. So when it arises, when anger arises, for example, then you should recognize it immediately and think, I really should let go of this anger. This is a mistake. And if you think about it in that way, you will be able to practice patience. And if you sustain mindfulness and alertness, you also will develop discriminating awareness with which you are able to clearly discern between what is a fault and what is a quality within your own mind. You develop this individually discriminating wisdom. So in all your activities, sustain mindfulness.
在第3句偈颂当中说到：愿我恒常观自心，烦恼妄念出生时，毁坏自己他众故，立即强行而断除。所以在这边呢，这句偈颂和37佛子行颂当中的第36颂呢，相当的相似。那这第36颂里面，它是说到我们的心呢，必须要 时时保持以正面觉知去观待，就是心中也要有这个智慧，就是来进行各种的活动，因为这样以智慧还有正念觉知去观待的话，我们就不会去看到他人的过失，而会看到自己的过失。当我们发现自己在批评别人的时候，我们应该当下就要认出这一个过失，并且思维这是错误的。举例来说，当我们看到某个人做错事情的时候，我们认为他错了，然后在那个当下，立刻呢，我们会想说这个人他们非常的坏。这个时候我们就要去关照自心，然后去思维说，我其实也可能犯下这样同样的错误，所以我们应该只去观自己的过失。那这一切的过失根源从哪里来呢？它是从我执而来的，从我执升起了烦恼，这些烦恼包括贪吝还有执着等等，所以我执它是一切烦恼的来源。另外一个例子中说到，比如说有朋友他好像污蔑你，那你立刻呢就感到非常的生气，因为马上就觉得说他冒犯了我，你没有去仔细检视说他所说的话到底是否是正确的，然后当下就感到非常的愤怒，对他很生气。那这种情况也就是没有以正念去持守。如果说以正念去持守的话呢，我们就可以看到升起嗔怒的这个过失。升起嗔怒呢，它将毁坏我们的慈心悲心，而这个嗔怒呢，它在许多事呢，它都会毁坏这个慈心悲心。在37佛子行颂当中也有谈到这个嗔怒，就是我们应该去关照自己升起嗔怒的过失。那举例来，并且呢，就是如果说以升起嗔怒为例子的话，那我们举例来说，为什么这个嗔怒升起嗔怒会是如此严重的问题呢？比如说有2个人，他们本来是一直快乐的住在一起的，直到有一天呢，其中一个人升起了嫉妒心，并且以及这个嗔怒心，那他们原本2个人之间所具有的慈爱呢，都转为了愤怒，因此2个人就分开了，直到他们都然后直到死亡之后呢，接下来的许多未来世之间，他们还是会再相遇，并且成为彼此的敌人。我们现在所碰到的敌人呢，其实在过去时，他们都曾经是我们非常亲爱的朋友。那是因为我们过去就是对待，就是过去是曾经对不起他们，所以呢，他们的慈爱就转成了嗔怒。对我们嗔怒，那就显现为敌人或者是冤亲债主。比如说那些威胁我们生命的人，威胁我们生命的冤亲债主呢，是因为我们过去世所造杀业而来的。威胁就是为我们带来疾病的冤亲债主呢，则是因为我们过去世曾经伤害或者是殴打过他人。给我们带来贫穷的冤亲债主，是因为我们过去是曾经偷窃他人的财物。这一切的痛苦的经历呢，都是来自相同的因，就是我们自己心中的负面情绪。当嗔怒升起的时候，我们应该当下就认出它，并且去思维我们应该放下这个嗔怒，因为它是错误的，并且就是要去修持忍辱。如果我们能够以正念去持守的话，我们心中的分别的智慧将能够获得增长。所以当我们在从事任何活动的时候，都应该以正念去持守。
用我的头，他们用我的模式告诉，模式是多告诉，都不咋都没有的。如果用我就这样的东西，这种是这种都不对，这啥都一直没事，啊，但用我当成卡罗拉，如果开当成，用开这种可以开大了，这个这段路嘛，起来，中间我追。到达这三种情况，饮食、就是那个正常其他也咱们因为家里他都咱们这个病他管理，当时给他帮助他往给他帮助，他都帮助他这个用他是爬这个因为他会做，因为不大后来。
So in the beginning, we need to recognize the inflicted emotions as they arise. And then once we have recognized them, we need to avert them, turn them away. We need to think about ways to turn them away. So the way to turn them away really is to always recognize them and again and again recognize the fault of the affliction. And so tonight, Madame friends, please consider all these various thoughts that arise in your mind and how much harm they have caused. All the anger and the jealousy and hatred. How harmful is it to consider that? What is the fault of those afflictions? Or is there any benefit in those afflictions? And actually, there is not any benefit in those afflictions at all. These afflictions are really what cause so much suffering in this and all our future lifetimes. So, Madame and friends, tonight especially, think about that. Think about the faults of the damage that is caused by these afflictions. And also consider the qualities of bodhicitta, loving kindness and compassion. Consider that hatred and jealousy and so on are the actual enemy to identify. And think that really from the bottom of my heart, that this is what I need to let go of. So it is actually the only thing to be angry at really is one's own anger or one's own jealousy. So we need to detach ourselves from these afflictions, such as hatred. And so for tonight, please consider this and keep this in mind. And so now we will end the instructions and continue with the text, the sadhana.
首先，我们必须要在心中升起烦恼的时候去认出它们，并且呢，调伏它们，降服它们。那要去调伏它们的方法，就是我们要时时在烦恼过失，我们要时时去认出这些烦恼的过失。各位佛友呢，今天晚上请各位要去仔细的思维，当你们心中各种升起的这些念头呢，它们是如何的产生害处？这些念头、这些妄念呢，比如说像是嗔怒、嫉妒等等，那它们有什么过失，或者它给你带来什么利益吗？实际上，它是不会带来任何利益的。烦恼它是痛苦的根源，那我们要去不论是现在世以及未来世，它都是给我们带来各种痛苦的。所以今天晚上呢，我们要去思维这一个烦恼，这个烦恼所带来的过失，并且还要去思维这个菩提心、慈心、悲心的功德。那然后呢，我们还要去认出嗔怒、嫉妒，它实际上才是我们真正的敌人。 如此的从心深处去思维，然后呢，我们要去让这些烦恼放下这些烦恼，然后呢，要去思维，并且呢，去思维我们真正所要产生愤怒的对象是我们自己愤怒、嫉妒的这些烦恼情绪，所以我们必须要从这些烦恼当中解脱出来。这是我们今天所要谨记思维的。今天的教授就到这边。
Page number 9.
第9页。
In the space in front appears the Guru in the form of Amitabha, surrounded by an inconceivable retinue of bodhisattvas.
于前虚空上师阿弥陀佛有眷属无量菩萨围绕以人亲自安居。
Namo Kunjo Sundam Savasa Jane Nama Jasuchi Doko Sanje Namuchi Janju Jodu Senji.
Namo, to the rituals and the three roots, the places of protection, I go for refuge. In order to establish all beings in Buddhahood, I give rise to the mindset of supreme awakening.
南无圣三宝与三根本，皈依一切皈依处，为至有情于佛果，于圣菩提发心意。
Page number 28.
第18页。
Innate awareness is the form of Amitabha. Look at the mind that is free of subject-object duality. There is no other Amitabha than that. How wondrous is the truth, body, and self-knowing awareness.
己觉阿弥陀佛身，但看已离取直心。阿弥陀佛另外无，己觉法身大奇汉。
太阳多呢，确实把这呀，那我的确啊，这两个选手就把那个选给去撒工的。我这个他也讲错情况，他们也讲错了，确实把那个因为了，咱们就上说的，一定完全记了，这场地上就把价给我的，他还有嘛的，这个场地比场地2楼高嘛的，对，而且他们哪怕他的讲错情况，不能掐吧。也就过来，那种哈，查过我查觉得经过2天，我上周生病的人，让亲人让的，把我去拍了啊，你拍到你地方感情我帮助的地方啊什么。
To explain one point here, because some of you might be new. So it says here, innate awareness is a form of Amitabha. And the later it says there is no other Amitabha than that. So that is very meaningful, very important, because normally we might think that the Buddhas are the Buddhas and sentient beings are separate from the Buddhas, different. And that is why, so separating from the Buddhas as sentient beings, we prostrate to the Buddhas, we supplicate them, we practice them, and so on. But actually, once you have cultivated bodhicitta and separated from self-grasping, actually that mind, your own mind, and Amitabha's mind are a single continuum. There's no difference. For example, if you have a vast ocean and then you pick up a drop of water from that ocean, then that water, this drop of water, is an example of a moment of your mind. It is the moment of clarity and emptiness. And that drop of water has the same nature, the same water as the entire ocean water, the vast ocean of this world. The water, wherever you go, is the same. So in a moment when you give rise to loving kindness and compassion, bodhicitta, your mind actually is the mind, just the same as the mind of the Buddha. There is really no difference. When the Buddhas attain enlightenment, they do not disappear, but they are all pervasive, just like space or the vast ocean. They are vast and all pervasive. And unlike us as sentient beings, we for now are like blocks of ice. So this is how we can understand this. So if you give rise to bodhicitta, then that mind itself, your own mind, is the same as the mind of the Buddha Amitabha. So here when we cultivate faith, devotion to Amitabha, it is a faith that arises on the ultimate level.
通常一动态而融进这个心里，融进这个而这种有常见的话就如此，那这个心里哪一定上，你看哦，吃大米的这样，大米的这种有的常见，他的心里就这个啥出现的这个，那这个心，所以说当地的一个这个当地面呢，这种有的那这个心里。 这个的，那么常是常见的，天主教的这块的，人家的罗马不，罗的这个动作，这造型啊，我这常见那个是常见哇好多的。
So on the ultimate level, the mind is free of subject-object duality. And so what is the subject-object duality? The object here is the outer object, and so here it is the Buddha, here's the Buddha abiding in space. That's our outer object. And then the inner grasping mind, the subject, that is the I, that is me. So that there is a separation, just like two vessels or two vases. And so there is the outer object that we grasp at, which is the Buddha, but then actually within the mind is the mind of bodhicitta. And so the difference is within our own mind, the grasping mind, there is self-grasping. But then whenever you let go of self-grasping, then there is no self-grasping, and then the subject-object duality becomes one. Then the outer grasped object and the inner grasping subject mind are actually realized as one. So one realizes the mind of the Guru, one's own mind, and the Buddha's mind have a single basis, are actually one. Or for example, there are many different lamps here, light sources here, in this room for example. But still, there's only one such a thing called light. There's only one light. So if you understand it that way, you can see how close your own mind actually is to the mind of the Buddhas.
所以在刚才念诵的这个偈颂当中呢，而且他说是非常重要，所以要做一下解释。因为在座各位有些是新来的佛友，这边有2句，一句是几觉阿弥陀佛身，再来阿弥陀佛另外无。一般上我们都会认为佛和众生是分开的。所以呢，众生他会去祈请，或者是会去祈请佛，或者是修持佛的法门等等。不过呢，一旦升起了菩提心，如果心中升起菩提心的话，并且已经去除了我执的心，实际上我们的心和阿弥陀佛的心是同一个。这个心绪之流，所以它们是没有任何分别的。举例来说，在一个广大的海洋当中，我们取一滴水，那这滴水呢，就如同我们当下的、我们刹那的这个心念，它是清明而且是具有空性的特质的。它的这一个体性呢，和这个海洋这一滴水的这个体性和海洋是没有分别的，因为水的本质是相同的。当我们心中刹那升起慈心、悲心的时候，我们的心实际上和佛的心是没有分别的。佛他获得证悟之后，他并不会因此消失，而是呢，他会遍满一切的虚空，而众生呢，他还没有证悟，他就如同还没有溶解的冰块，就是一块冰块。当众生心中升起菩提心的时候，他的心就与阿弥陀佛的心实际上是没有分别的。所以我们在这里，我们要培养对阿弥陀佛的前进心，而这个对阿弥陀佛的这个信心呢，它是从究竟的层次上面来升起的。从究竟而言，我们的心是离于主客二元的。所谓的主客二元呢，它是有一个外在执取的对象，在这里呢是指安住在虚空当中的佛。那另外呢，有一个执取的心，然后它就是所谓的主体，也就是我们自己。在这边我们就会将主客做了区分，也就是有一个对境是佛，然后呢还有一个我们自己。这就如同2个瓶子一样，有一个执取的对境，它是佛，然后呢可是实际上，当我们的心中能够升起，可是实际上呢，在心中呢，当我们心中是具有菩提心的时候呢，是和佛没有分别的，而是因为我们心中是有我执心的缘故，所以会有这种主客的分别。当我们心中已经去除了我执的心的时候，这个主客呢，它就不再是二元的，它就会成为就是形成如一的，它其实就是同样的，就没有所谓的外在执取的对境以及执取对境的这个心，因为这2者的心呢，其实就是相同的，它们是如一的。举例来说，在现在这个会场呢，有许多的灯源，那这些灯呢，它们的虽然好像是不同的，可是实际上它们同样都是灯光。所以呢，当我们能够就是 所以呢，实际上我们可以从这边理解到，我们的心呢，实际上是与佛的心是非常接近的。
Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Om Deva Om Deva Om Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Om Deva Om Deva Om Deva Om Dewa Om Dewa Om Dewa Om Dewa
Om, transcendent conqueror, protector, Buddha Amitabha, and noble assembly of loving bodhisattvas, compassionately look upon us afflicted beings, and guide us to the pure land of Sukhavati. In accord with the past bodhicitta vows, not wavering from the sacred bond, deity with great compassion, please exhaust all negative karma and empty samsara from its depths. At this very moment, please act as our guide. As I, with intense devotion, have thus invoked the enlightened mind, red light rays of compassion radiate from the heart of Amitabha and dissolve into the hearts of myself and all beings. Self-grasping, misconceptions, and delusion have collapsed in themselves. The state of selfless Dharmakaya is realized, and I rest in the nature of clarity and emptiness, free from grasping and elaboration.
唵，世尊护主阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀尊佛，大爱圣子菩萨圣者具，大悲罪极护念烦恼重，祈请接引我等往极乐，犹如往昔发心发誓般，尊誓莫再强烈大悲天，恶业边境彻断轮回己。祈请寄于现在立阶里，无比猛烈恳切谆续，弥陀心间放射悲红光，融入我等有情心间时，我执道望迷惑缘处习，无我法身尊意已现前，至于明空无实离系状。
By all the limitless and sacred merit obtained through this meditation and recitation, May all beings drowning in the river of suffering attain the supreme state of Amitabha.
如此身修念诵所流出，润得纯正月边彼福德，有情痛苦大和沉默众，其愿即得阿弥陀之处。
唵是这个观察光婆阿弥，啷个在人家是身被做，这个年的大众国姐姐，若能给前者被大西多。
Om Shrim, all-pervasive Dharmakaya, protect Amitabha, Sambhogakayas, the loving assembly of Bodhisattvas, and Nirmanakayas, the gathering of Shravakas and Arahats. Together with their retinues, please endow all beings with the auspiciousness to progress to Sukhavati.
空水法身周遍物主阿弥陀，报身大爱圣子菩萨去，化身声闻罗汉邪眷属，众生尽登极乐次吉祥。
给我的愿有得到，我阿弥陀的救命。若我去查马路巴，也有萨拉鲁巴。
By this virtuous practice, may I quickly realize Buddha Amitabha, and may all sentient beings without exception be established in that state.
愿从此殊胜修行，我与众生成弥陀。
摩诃摩诃萨耶那vand他耶那耶舍救我度耶净多难，愿得僧般的净多难巴三耶将净巴弥陀。耶净摩萨巴德弥巴耶别瓦净净加维净巴。大心定的真如就马卡，吉瓦心就巴马就，耶勒见勒曼的山龙修，的给他给摩拉达巴，这就三界将天看界界，天命就把心界看。耶呀那边扎耶呀，阿王陀那耶稣。
Amaho, marvelous, in the center is the Buddha Amitabha, boundless light. To his right is Trivizik, the Lord of great compassion, and to his left is the Bodhisattva Vajrapani, the Lord of great power. They are surrounded by an inconceivably assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Extraordinary limitless peace and happiness is the Buddha field called bliss endowed. When I and all beings pass from this life, may we be born there, unhindered by another samsaric birth. Once born there, may we behold the face of the Buddha Amitabha, boundless light. By the power of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, bless me that I may attain his aspiration without hindrance. Deyata Vensandriya Ava Buddhanaya Soha.
希有哉，希有难得阿弥陀佛尊，又为至尊大悲观世音， 所为大力大势至菩萨，无量诸佛菩萨作围绕，稀有难得无量安乐之，名为极乐世界该净土。唯愿自他往生刹那间，断绝阻碍投往其他生，愿生彼土得见阿弥陀。我以此语所作之祈愿，唯愿十方一切佛菩萨赐予加持无碍成就之。
就见叫我萨迦摩，作你作那地那给就算给萨玛，空就算那就。叫我天把你就接给我心经不难，若空三界都就接给萨堂接接。断绝就阿弥就觉真念阿弥陀佛，见面面两个没有见对萨就，南无见不就阿他给我见得给就见，见面我看见的变见阿三。将就得内具四得真本若万人
May all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas abiding in the 10 directions and 3 times think of me. I rejoice in their accomplishments of the 2 accumulations. The virtue I offer to the triple gem, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May the teachings of Buddha flourish. I dedicate the merits to all sentient beings. May all sentient beings attain enlightenment. May all these virtues gather together, ripen in my mind stream, by purifying the 2 to 5 months and accumulate merits. May the light of health, practice, and realization increase. In this lifetime may I obtain the 10 boons. When we leave this life, may we be reborn at once in Devachen. After having been born and having awakened as the lotus blooms, at that very moment may I attain enlightenment. After reaching enlightenment, till samsara is empty, may we liberate all sentient beings by virtue of my miraculous powers.
十方三世诸佛菩萨垂念我，诸佛圆满各种资粮我随喜。以此功德供养佛法僧三宝，祈愿佛法至圣苍心永住世，回向有情愿皆共振菩提果，积一切善功德成熟我心绪，祈愿恶障尽除福德资粮具，祈愿慧命健康修正皆增长，此生圆满正入其地菩萨位。临终往生极乐净土觉莲圣，愿于瞬间获证正等觉妙宝，法力救度众生直至轮回尽。
成就身着人多，马界花难见有。见万年万面观业功德悲欢。
May Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, arise where it has not been, where it has arisen may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher.
殊胜菩提心大宝，未生起者愿生起，已生起者愿不衰，辗转增益更得上。
将那灭功就在瓦生，切把看见光我见人间。 杰森罗曼多罗贝曼索瓦雷索图南恰耶摩拉ယော瑟勒帕金耶耶德罗那三尤罗那就那有瓦就给就境界妈妈扎给你就看呀你扎勒扎罗那索有摩子扎西西松罗涅玛主子扎这名用扎名扎公平萨有美达有耶耶巴达耶巴拉耶拉耶维阿玛索扎维乔耶罗耶人他达牛德谢谢在民中纠结蒙安弥弥多瓦他达给就来将就生就人多见马给见人多切三就长人尊长的生堂的名讲咱们他的结巴金就三界人马他也有你说早生家我世界人别多可得也人早我看见啊大家拉上南瓜看为子所难忘的人我
6. This ritual, since three roots, trustworthy source of refuge, and in particular the Lord of the land of snow, Avalokiteshvara, Jetsuntaram, Guru Padmasambhava, I supplicate you, please follow your previous pledges. Bestow blessings that this aspiration prayer may be fulfilled most perfectly. Due to the degeneration of times when thoughts and deeds of beings are perverted, and the inner and outer elements have lost their balance, man and cattle are seized by epidemic disease previously unheard of, intruding Rahus, Nagas, powerful demons, and dark forces, like frost and hail, bad harvest, warfare, and so forth, erratic rainfall, heat, misery, droughts in the world, destruction by the elements such as earthquakes and the threat of fire, and in particular barbaric offenses causing harm to the teachings are rampant. May all types of harm and injury around the world be swiftly pacified and overcome. May precious and supreme bodhicitta spontaneously arise in the mind streams of all beings, human and non-human, and may they be free from destructive thoughts and deeds. May all be endowed with a loving mind for one another, and may well-being, glory, and prosperity prevail throughout the world. May the Buddha's teachings spread far and wide and everlast. By the truthful power of the three roots, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by any root of virtue existing in samsara and nirvana, and by the power of our perfectly pure highest intention, may the fruition of our supplication and aspiration be attained.
36页，无期救处三宝三根本，如其雪域护主观世音，劫尊斗母大士莲花生，至心祈请心事垂护念，完全达成祈愿垂加持，着世众生行思常颠倒，内外大种错乱之因缘，广西流传人畜瘟疫病。药龙王怪黑方不多计，绣双袍等荒年战乱纷，雨水不调世间天灾害，地震火殃四大之部位，尤其危害佛教外透等，尽此世间所有诸祸害，唯愿迅速平息连根除， 所有人与非人众生之心中殊胜珍宝菩提心，心行由衷远离与侵害，尚且相互协具仁慈心，世间各处安乐且富足，必愿佛教兴盛且常住。三根诸佛菩萨真谛力，任凡所有轮灭诸善根，我等亦乐白善净相力，唯愿达成其愿之正果。
所难得耶tham耶世法尼，多美涅贝达那旁စေ耶，揭迦那揭巴隆珠巴耶，是本所人多阿罗阿。
By this virtue, may I achieve the all-knowing state, and by defeating all enemies, confusion, the cause of suffering, may all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara.
以此功德愿证遍知性，祸患冤敌众皆得摧伏。愿从生老病死错乱之轮回大海之中得解脱。
将巴巴瑞杰达钦巴达，功德三波尼扬的心的，耶那波提苏达罗金，耶瓦尼达三耶古苏耶白金巴达。真念没有人被净化他，变动灭见的被净化之，就大不行红蓝的法。
In order to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality as it is, and just like Samantabhadra as well, I completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging, changeless nature, by the blessing of the indivisible assembly of the Sangha, may these prayers be accomplished as I have dedicated.
犹如文殊永世大智慧，复似普贤菩萨无是性。随习彼等一切我学习，此诸功德一切尽回向。佛陀得证三身之加持，法性不变真谛之加持，生前坚固聚集之加持，如是回向其愿愿成就。
大难光的堂解决。得生得萨巴达，有被给为萨瓦尼，大难生健康之，有个大难灭法，让巴达就被长久人波及，多法主也。
By the virtuous accumulations of the 3 times of myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by this root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment.
以我及一切有情众，三世所累积于有善之根本，愿我于一切众生，速证无上正等觉妙法。
刚日热为国为心康的平安的瓦那日经文，一日自往天尊讲座，下辈心的话的天教界，公教人间圣教好玩。教人进把这别被看将多梦上过境界现在， 这来论着看呀下边就公交世界内吧内吧，我的王者也真样别样子变人间中的天界，去就看我个就下的就把别样那样的话都看。就是我也是这一天忙了都在决定，把两个人这些个家的女的家的娘子那个，他都接大问的有些里面明白可接大给，因为你那个见小的做。我所让的就对个些人话所望，这来大姐也把所望的浪漫拿着我的把姐姐落我的浪漫啊，姐姐怎样落大美姐姐正在来把头问不给。浪漫将我身旁有把手，身前看见的那年就，每个看见他的东白手，将就心把看待所有，跌倒跟着不浪着就现在空在空间去眼睛。对着美好望头月光，人间把界变化心的，接着的苍我本见是我们的是我们的是我们的是我。
Guys, to all participants, please be reminded that tomorrow we will open here at 8:30, so please be seated by 8:50. Please be reminded to take your badge here, your name tag here, because this is how we actually identify you, and it's for you to gain admission into the hall, into the event itself. So please do not forget this.
谢谢各位佛友今天抽出宝贵的时间来参加法会。还有提醒各位呢，明天准时到会场8点半早上开始入席，然后记得带你的通行证。谢谢。